All right, so objective 3. So now we're going to talk about how there can be non-response undercoverage and response bias and how it can affect interpreting our confidence interval. So caution here, the margin of error does not account for any sources of bias in the data collection. So remember these ideas from chapter 3 when we talked about sampling. So when you're doing this, right, the way that you collected your data might have this result. The margin of error is not responsible for it, right? So it's all, in terms of these biases, it's all about how you ran your sampling method. So be aware of that. Okay. But the way you did your method could affect the results and how you should actually interpret the results. All right. So let's take a look and see in an example here. Okay, so example 3, what's your GPA? As part of a project about response bias, Ellery surveyed a random sample of 25 students from her school. One of the questions in the survey required students to state their GPA aloud. Based on the responses, Ellery said that she was 90% confident that the interval from 3.14 to 3.52 captures the mean GPA for all students at her school. Describe one potential source of bias in Ellery's study that is not accounted for by the margin of error. So again, she gathered data. She created an 90% confidence interval. She thinks that this is going to capture the true, right? This should say the true mean GPA for all her students, right? But the question is, what did she do in gathering that data that might skew this data, that might make this data biased? And here's the problem right here. State their GPA aloud. Think about that, right? That is a response bias, because when I have to state my GPA aloud, there's more potential that I'm going to lie and say I have a higher GPA than I really do. So we're going to start off by saying the margin of error does not account for the fact that many students might lie about their GPAs when having to state it out loud. So again, they're probably going to inflate their GPA, right? So this means that the true mean GPA for all students at Ellery's school may not be captured by the confidence interval. And then I will actually kind of mention a direction. So because I think people would lie on the high side, I think that those GPAs are inflated. I think that the actual GPA is probably, not properly, probably less than 3.14, right? So again, because they had to say it out loud, they probably lied. They probably added a couple, decimals to their GPA, which means the true value is probably less. Okay. And again, notice we say may not be captured because it still might be in there, right? But again, there is some sort of a bias in how she ran her sampling. So maybe what she could have done is she could have them write it on a piece of paper, right? Make it anonymous. So then it would not be tied to them out loud in front of everybody else. All right, great. Okay, cool. All right, so that's section 7.2. Again, you should have done those 2 activities as well to help you understand things. And good luck on the homework. Let me know if you have any questions.